Good evening and welcome to the World News at 6 on Voice of the People, 90.3 FM. My name is Esther Wachuku and these are the top stories. Nnamdi Kanu begs court for transfer to Kuje prison. Nnamdi Kanu assures to end Southeast insecurity in 2 minutes if released. Godswill Akpabio insists murderers of 16 soldiers not from Niger Delta. Details now. The world news begins with the incarcerated leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, who has requested the Federal High Court to transfer him to Kuje prison. He claimed that the Department of State Services lacks adequate medical facilities for his treatment and suggested that there is a plot for him to perish while in DSS custody. He disclosed, and quote, "People will come to see me, they will not allow them. They don't have a medical facility. I have congestive heart failure. They are patching me up. My feet is swollen. I asked them to conduct surgery and they said they couldn't. There is a conspiracy to die in detention. I want to be transferred to Kuje prison," end quote. Nnamdi Kanu brought this matter to the attention of Justice Binta Nyako of the Federal High Court in Abuja today, following the court's denial of his bail request. The IPOB leader, who has been in the custody of the DSS since his extradition in June 2021, is facing charges related to treasonable felony. At the court today, Kanu expressed his dissatisfaction with the treatment he is receiving from the secret police. Kanu's counsel, Ijeoma, earlier requested that his client be transferred to the Kuje Correctional Center. Subsequently, Kanu was granted permission to address the court by Justice Nyako. During his address, Kanu revealed that he is suffering from cognitive heart disease. In an attempt to provide evidence of his mistreatment, he removed his shirt in the courtroom to show the judge his ribs and chest. He claimed that the doctors within the DSS facility do not have the necessary medication to properly care for his condition. Kanu alleged that the DSS is merely providing temporary solutions to prevent him from dying in custody. Furthermore, Kanu accused the DSS of conspiring to ensure his demise while in detention. He questioned why he was brought back to court when the Supreme Court had already ruled that he did not jump bail. Kanu expressed his desire to be transferred to Kuje prison in order to receive proper medical treatment as mandated by the law, as he has been denied access to quality health care by the DSS. Let's take a listen to Nnamdi Kanu's legal representative, Ijeoma, describing what transpired at the court today and his grievances as to how the matter with Nnamdi Kanu has been being handled by the federal government of Nigeria.
I think it's very necessary that we make very clear to the public what happened. I think it's very necessary that we make very clear what happened in court today. We do not want to call it a travesty of justice because of the respect we had for the judiciary, but we are utterly disappointed that today bail was refused. On what grounds? The Supreme Court on 15 December criticized very severely the revocation of Nnamdi Kanu's bail in several pages, which we are going to make available to the media. At pages 19, 20, and 21 of Justice Agem's judgment, he even suggested that the impartiality of the trial court in revoking Nnamdi Kanu's bail is suspect. We didn't mind all of that, but still we made an application, a fresh application, to my Lord, urging her to exercise discretion to restore Nnamdi Kanu's bail. She refused it without any reason whatsoever. And then we made a second application to accentuate the need for this bail application, pointing to the enormous challenges we face as defense counsel in consulting with Nnamdi Kanu privately and confidentially at the detention facility of the DSS headquarters in Abuja. We are only allowed 30 minutes each as counsel on only Mondays and Thursdays for a cumulative period of 2 hours, twice a week, to consult with him separately. And the federal government is feasting to have an accelerated trial. Yes, we too want an accelerated trial, but we have to have it under an environment that respects Section 36, sub 6, B and C of the Nigerian Constitution. It's all about fair hearing. It goes to the ground norm. It goes to the basic norms of the society that you must hear the other side. And to hear the other side, he has to have an adequate facility to prepare his defense and to consult with his lawyers. It's the Constitution that said it. It's not us that said it. So we came to my Lord with an application and said, listen, it's impossible for us to conduct this trial under this atmosphere of interference with his right to counsel. They eavesdrop on our conversations. In the little cubicle room of 10 by 10 where we consult with Master Nnamdi Kanu, they have secret listening devices and secret photographic and videographic devices. They listen to our conversations secretly, they take our secret photographs, and we adduced this evidence before my Lord. They confiscate our legal documents. They don't allow us to take notes. Pray. You may be lay men and lay women. The general public may not be lawyers, but is this fair? How can you have trial under circumstances like this? It's not possible. So we are not stalling. It is the federal government that is stalling. We can't take notes. So what is the essence of it? We cannot prepare him adequately. We cannot talk with him. We whisper. We put our lips to his ear. We talk sort of voice, and so on and so forth. So this is the essence. This is what happened in court today, where justice was turned upside down when our two applications that go to fair hearing were refused. But we are going to bounce back. There are more applications to come.
Are you going to appeal on this ground?
Yeah, definitely. Appeal is ongoing.
And that was Ijeoma Egwuatu, Nnamdi Kanu's legal counsel, addressing the press today after the court proceeding. Meanwhile, the embattled leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, has vowed that the worrisome rise in insecurity in the southeast will end 2 minutes after his release. VOP News gathered that Kanu, who has been in the custody of the Department of State Services since his arrest in 2021, made this comment at the Federal High Court in Abuja and refused to grant his fresh bail request today. He alleged that some top government officials were complicit and making money from insecurity in the region. Nnamdi Kanu boasted that nobody could question his authority in the southeast region. He said that the worsening security situation in the region would end 2 minutes after his release. Let's take a listen to Nnamdi Kanu after the court session today, addressing the press and disclosing authoritatively to handle those who are creating chaos and insecurity in the southeast.
That's what we're fighting for. Nothing more, nothing less. And we cannot be cowed by anybody. We are without fear before our enemies. And we speak the truth always. I want all the journalists here arrayed to go and ask them, ask government of Nigeria, what happened to Treasonable Felon? Where are those charges today?
From 2015.
They have just disappeared because they have no evidence against me. So they cannot go scot-free. I swear it. They cannot go scot-free. Anybody involved in any type of crime in the East cannot go free. And they're doing it because I'm in DSS. That's what if I said no idiot can try this rubbish, and they know it very well. They know it very well. And I suspect that some people in government are complicit. Yes. They are making money with insecurity.
That's correct.
They are making money with it. They know now the Kanu is outside. In 2 minutes, this nonsense will stop. Who is the idiot? Who is the bagger? That will speak when I'm talking. Who is the fool? Who is the idiot? I ask. That I give an order in the East, and any idiot will counter it. Who is the bastard? I'm asking you. Nobody can.
Sir, are you
I'm Nnamdi Kanu. Who is the idiot? Any form of violence or insecurity in the southeast
In the name of IPOB.
in the name of IPOB is a gunner, and they know it. Let me come out of this nonsense, this mess. 2 minutes only.
There will be peace
Only 2 minutes, I guarantee you.
and tranquility.
And there will be peace in the east, not just southeast. Everywhere in the east, if not the entire south.
Yes.
And I have joining me right now for the news analysis segment, Barrister Darlington, who is a political and national social affairs commentator. Barrister Darlington, good evening and welcome to the World News at 6. Can you hear me, Barrister Darlington?
How are you?
I'm fine. Good evening. Thank you for joining me this evening.
Yes.
Quickly, Barrister Darlington, you heard what transpired in the court today with Nnamdi Kanu and his legal representatives. Apparently, Nnamdi Kanu is saying there's a conspiracy to retain him in detention and they want him to die. He's pleading that he should be released. He pleaded to the court today that he should be released to Kuje prison, to the Kuje Correctional Center. He said, you also heard his lawyer gave quite a lot of description of what transpired within the DSS. He's not allowed proper treatment. There are listening devices within where he resides in the DSS. There is no freedom permitted to him and all whatnot. What's your take with the federal government's situation with Nnamdi Kanu, despite several court orders initially asking that he be released, and the way they took the court back to the High Court saying that Nnamdi Kanu should almost start afresh and that there should be an accelerated hearing?
In fact, Esther, it is unfortunate. It is unfortunate that the Supreme Court, I cannot blame the Supreme Court over Nnamdi Kanu's travels. Because as the apex court, the Supreme Court had the authority and power to release Nnamdi Kanu on bail. I don't know why the same court could, after castigating the lower court for revoking his bail, they now ask him to go back. How does it sound? The Supreme Court, you know that something was done wrong to that young man. Why didn't they correct it? Why didn't they correct it? After saying that there was no need to revoke Nnamdi Kanu's bail, why didn't you now correct it? You now ask them to go back and start all over again. Esther, quote to me. There are some people who don't want Nnamdi Kanu to come out. And that is a fact. The federal government, they don't know what to do, and they are using the courts. It is unfortunate that our courts are no longer what they used to be. If not, I keep asking myself, why did the Supreme Court take such a decision? A matter that came before you, you have the power to take decision. You have the power to give him bail. Yet you say you should go and start all over again. That means the court is being teleguided. Esther, our courts are not being teleguided. There are some vested interests on Nnamdi Kanu's case. Ask yourself, why is it that after all the initial trial and the matter got to Supreme Court, this man was declared free and innocent? The court could not find anything against Nnamdi Kanu. The 15-count charge was trashed at the court by Michael Zekemen. He quashed all the charges against Nnamdi Kanu. So what else are they holding him for? That is my question. What is the counsel now? What is that count that holding Nnamdi Kanu for? Enter. Let me now tell you. During the old Soviet Union, USSR, when that government want to deal with anybody they don't like, you know what they do?
What do they do?
They take him to a place called the Kulak Archipelago. Enter. That place is a hell on earth. If you go there, it will take the grace of God for you to come back alive. That is what these people are doing. They want to break Nnamdi Kanu's spirit by keeping him in detention, in isolation. No other thing. Go and read that book, the Kulak Archipelago. You will know what I'm telling you.
Barrister Darlington, it got so bad today in court.
That evil empire created a lot of dividends.
It got so bad today in court, Barrister Darlington, that Nnamdi Kanu had to remove his shirt to show the judge. Can you hear me, Barrister Darlington?
Because the worst thing you can do to a man is to carry out injustice against him.
Barrister Darlington, can you hear me?
Yes.
It got so bad today in court that Nnamdi Kanu at some point had to remove his shirt to show Justice Binta Inyako his ribs.
Be louder.
I am being loud. I said it got so bad today in court that Nnamdi Kanu had to show Justice Binta Inyako his ribs telling him the fact that he actually has a cognitive heart disease. I mean, for him to plead to the judge that he should be redirected to Kuje prison and let out of the DSS custody. That kind of isolation and psychological issue that he feels that is affecting him on the DSS custody. Why is it difficult for his plea to be heard? I mean, why has he not been transferred to Kuje Correctional Center, even if his case is still being heard in court?
Exactly, so that the DSS will use their manipulative and psychopanzer method to deal with him. You know, our DSS is like the former Gestapo in the old Germany. When the Gestapo want to deal with you, they will keep you in isolation. And these two evil empires, go and read their story in the old days. They want to keep you in detention. They'll be manipulating you. They'll be using all sorts of methods. You can even be hearing something that you don't know, so that the person will be dying slowly and slowly and slowly and slowly. It may take years, but the person will eventually die.
But the question is, Barrister Darlington, what are they afraid of? They have deployed every mechanism, right, to ensure that he's not escaped. Nobody sneaks anything that we consider a contraband within the DSS isolation center. You just heard Ijeoma Egwuatu say that there are listening devices. Everything or anybody who comes in is properly searched, and in fact, he's only entitled to possibly one visitor, at a time. So if all those measures are already applied, what is the difference between him being in the DSS custody and him being transferred to Kuje prison? And if Nnamdi Kanu has been complaining about his health, why has there been no proper medical care on him? Doesn't he have the right to access proper medical care even if he's within the custody of the DSS?
They want him to die slowly in detention, so that at the end of the day, they will tell you that he died of natural causes, and nobody will be allowed to do any autopsy on him. Quote me, that is what it is looking like now. And like Nnamdi Kanu said, his release will stop all this insecurity in the country, because the people fighting us, they are not indigenous, they are not from us. They release the Nnamdi Kanu will make them to disappear from that place, but they don't want it. They don't want it. We have foreign invaders in the southeast, and the federal government is aware. This man has told you his release will bring peace, yet you don't want to listen. That means the federal government don't want peace in the southeast. It is not obvious to everybody. ESN has told you, IPOB has told you, allow us to secure the southeast. Let me see whether one person will die in the southeast. They didn't listen, they refuse. Rather, you see army of occupation in the southeast. After the other day, just last month, was not in the month of December of January. 2 trailer loads of human beings we are brought into Imo State, and they say they came for hunting. Is that not a public knowledge? What are they doing in Imo State? Where is the forest for hunting in Imo State? All the land in the north, nobody saw any land to do hunting. It is in Imo State. And somebody is telling me that the federal government is not aware of all these things. The army of occupation that are taking over Imo State, the federal government is not aware. In fact, there is news blackout and what is going on in the southeast. So what are you telling me? They know that with the release of Nnamdi Kanu, with the followership he has, these things will end immediately, but they don't want it. Enter, the federal government don't want it. So what is anybody telling me now? Hold on, if I now say that there is a conspiracy theory, will anybody doubt me? It is obvious. Why are you keeping this man there? Manipulating the judiciary. That is why I get so much annoyed. The whole Supreme Court, a matter came before you. After castigating the lower court, instead of you to take a decision, you now say you should go back and start all over again. Is that justice? Is that justice for God? Is that justice?
All right, Barrister Darlington, finally, we need to round up as soon as possible. Senate President, you do know the situation in Delta State between Okoloba and Okwama community, and the Senate President has stated that those responsible for the massacre of those 16 officers and men of the 181 Amphibious Battalion at Okwama in Ughelli South local government area of Delta State are not from Niger Delta. Akpabio disclosed this today during a debate at two merged motions by Senators Abdulaziz Iyarodua, who represents APC Katsina Central, and Ede Defumin, APC Delta Central. He said the youths who killed the soldiers may be mercenaries, adding that the country is not at war. Do you think Akpabio is making this statement because that is possibly his region, or there should be a proper investigation as to who the soldiers were, why they came into the community, since we've seen or heard several reports from the community members as to what started the fight or the opera, what led to the killing of those soldiers, and the retaliatory effects of some youth on the 181 battalion. What's your take on that, please, in 2 minutes?
Please, let me ask you, is Akpabio saying these things because he's the senior president or because he has the facts at his disposal? As Akpabio told people what happened under his watch in Akwa Ibom when he was governor of that state, how many people died under his watch? There was a young man who came from US who wanted to challenge Akpabio as the governor of that state. He wanted to contest the election. Enter they threatened that man to the church where he went to church and almost killed him. The guy miraculously escaped and called ambulance from US because of the health insurance he has, and they whisked him away to the United States. Meanwhile, they concluded that he's already dead. When they now heard that he's still alive, they went to go and kidnap the mother of that boy and told the mother to ask the boy to come back. If not, they will kill her. The boy did not come back and the woman did not leave. Esther, that boy did not come back and the woman did not leave. It happened under Akpabio. Has anybody investigated that matter? I'm not talking of other things that happened under his watch in Akwa Ibom. And now he had the temerity to talk because he's a senior president. Is that not true?
No, the question is not about him being because of his.
How many things will happen under in Akwa Ibom? Were they resolved? This thing that happened now in this community in Niger Delta. Please, I want to ask, who deployed the military to that place? That is the first question anybody should ask. Did the president Tinubu ask them to go there? Because he's the commander-in-chief. Before any military can go anywhere, it must get authorization from Tinubu, who is the president of Nigeria and commander of the armed forces. So, why did those army men go there? Did they go there officially or they went on illegal duty? That is the first question anybody should ask. Take us back from there. If they went there illegally and this will happen now, are you not supposed to ask somebody who asked these guys to come here, who deployed them? At least make arrest by now, make arrest. Don't order them to go and start killing everybody in that region. Esther, the one thing that happened somewhere in the north. Remember what happened at Melete Palace in 2018? 200 military officers died in their camp. They were there in their barracks when they were invaded.
Barrister Darlington. Barrister Darlington.
They managed to arrest some people among those who invaded them. They said they got authority from above to release them. So what is anybody telling me?
Barrister Darlington, we've actually run out of time. We have a program coming up as soon as possible. I want to say thank you so much for your analysis and your passion as usual in analyzing most of these issues that we talk about on the world news. I seriously appreciate you sharing the perception to the questions posed at you.
Thank you, my dear.
All right. And now to wrap up here again are the top stories. You heard that Nnamdi Kanu has begged the court for transfer to Kuje prison. Nnamdi Kanu assures to end Southeast insecurity in 2 minutes if released. Akpabio discloses the murderers of 16 soldiers not from the Niger Delta. That's a wrap on the world news at 6. My name is Esther Amachuku. Good evening and thank you for listening.